automatic first down.
It's DeJuan Gross. Cardinals win it dramatically. Albert Pujols with 2 on and 2 out in the top of the 9th. Down by 2, hits a 3-run homer, reminiscent of that Dave Henderson home run for Boston in the '86 Angels Red Sox Game 5, and the Cardinals stay alive, win 5-4. So for those of you in St. Louis who have switched over here, your team got off to a great start, 17-0, but attrition. You lose Bolger. They've had other injuries. Bruce isn't playing. Holt is 60%, and Indy is just too good at this point. Up by 11, and James will take the ball to the 6-yard line.
You know, when he decides to go somewhere, he's going, isn't it? I mean, he takes that cut, and he's going to turn that ball upfield or downfield, and he just doesn't. But it's here, and then right now he decides that's where he's going. The guys just fly off him. I mean, Archuleta's a pretty good tackler, but when he makes contact, he still loses 2 more yards. He still gains 2 more yards.
142 rushing yards for James tonight. 2nd and 3. And they go for the record, and Harrison has it. The Rams are going to say no, he wasn't in bounds, so if it stands, unless it gets challenged and overturned, that's your record. It would be 86 on the fade from Manning to Harrison.
They were looking for that all night. They finally caught man-to-man out there. He throws him a perfect pass. Watch Marvin Harrison's feet. Here he catches the ball down and drag that right foot. That should be a record.
It should be. That's beautiful.
That looks like they have Stokely on the same side, so he got man-to-man. He gave himself a little room to the outside so he could bend in, and then he got both feet inbounds. Congratulations.
And Harrison, who normally takes all of his touchdown balls and keeps them, insists that Peyton take this one. The extra point is good by Vanderjagt. That's 86. That's a new NFL record. And they still have a lot of years ahead of them. And the Colts have an 18-point lead.
Relive another great moment on ESPN. Could he do it again? Would Adam Vinatieri hit another last-second field goal to nail down another Super Bowl victory for the New England Patriots?
And Vinatieri's kick down the middle. The kick is good.
And the New England Patriots were Super Bowl champions for the 2nd time in 3 years. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
The X Games on ESPN. Athletes redefining their sport.
Unbelievable.
When does athletic skill transcend the sport?
And he's got it over the height. Man, that was huge.
When does a trick become a miracle?
Are you kidding me?
Don't miss a special encore of X Games 11. Thursdays this October, only on ESPN.
So for Marvin Harrison, a very quiet night until just now. He caught only 2 balls. He now has 3 catches for 21 yards. He's had a lot better days and nights than this. But he comes through here on Monday Night Football for the 86th time with Manning for the record. 18-point lead. Johnson to run it back up to the 23-yard line. And he lets Manning take the ball. Peyton to the end zone. His 2nd touchdown pass tonight, 38-20.
And now, more great moments on ESPN. The year was 2004. The San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers were locked in an NBA Conference semifinal. Tim Duncan scores a clutch point, only to be outdone by Derek Fisher. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
Al Michaels, John Madden, and Sam Ryan at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Colts on top and leading by 18. Indy trying to go to 6-0. Jamie Martin, who took over for the injured Bulger. That one's intercepted. Harper comes away with it. His second takeaway. To the 18 he goes. Fourth time that the Colts have taken the ball away from the Rams.
Yeah, we were talking to Tony Dungy about the defense. He was talking about toughness and speed, and the other thing he talked about was getting turnovers. And even at halftime, he told Sam, he said, our defense isn't making anything happen. We have to make some plays on defense. Well, they came out in the second half, and this defense has really made plays.
Rams will go home, and now the question, of course, after the game is, what about Bulger? They play New Orleans next week, Jacksonville the week after. Indianapolis goes to winless Houston, and then they have a week off before that Monday night matchup against New England. Martin had completed 11 straight passes, and now his last 2 have been intercepted. And Harrison, can he get in? No, he stopped just short of the goal line.
As you said, he was quiet most of the night, but they had him doubled, they had him bracketed, they were doing all this thing. Here he is, he's just the outside receiver, and again, he does this with quickness. He starts upfield, and then boom, he comes into the inside, and these guys, Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, know each other so well. I think Peyton Manning could throw that blindfolded. I think Marvin Harrison could run that route blindfolded.
And before it's over and done with, barring injury, these guys will put a lot of distance between themselves and Young and Rice.
Yeah, now they're in their goal line offense again, so Marvin Harrison is out.
And Manning will take a timeout. That's the second taken by Indy in the half with 8:19 to go. Indy on top by 18, trying to make it 25.
The X Games on ESPN. Athletes redefining their sport.
Unbelievable.
When does athletic skill transcend the sport?
And he's got it over the height. Man, that was huge.
When does a trick become a miracle?
Are you kidding me?
Don't miss a special encore of X Games 11. Thursdays this October, only on ESPN. And now, more great moments on ESPN. The year was 2004. The San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers were locked in an NBA Conference semifinal. Tim Duncan scores a clutch point, only to be outdone by Derek Fisher. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
Baseball field is Victory Field, home of the AAA Indianapolis Indians, and then under the dome, here it is again. Take a look at this on the touchdown pass to Harrison.
Watch Peyton Manning here. We talk about communication. You see he signals out to Marvin Harrison, and then this happened. You know, we always talk about the two of them have signals, and they know each other, and they just have little hand movements, body movements. That was a hand movement, and that got him a record.
First and goal now after the timeout. Edgerrin James is in the game. Dallas Clark sets up the leverage, and Edgerrin James will burrow his way in for a touchdown. He went the low road, so they had to wait for the official to come in and find him, and across the goal line he goes to make it 44-20.
That's a fourth Colt touchdown off a turnover. And that's what they do. This offense is so good, they can run it or they can pass it. And if you're going to give it to them, if you're going to give them a turnover, their offense will take it and get it in the end zone. There's two things a running back can do down the goal line. He can go over the top or he can go underneath, not run right into it.
Point 45 off the foot of Mike Vanderjagt. So it's been a big night for Harrison, a record-setting night, but Edgerrin James has really been the star. 143 yards on the ground. And Indy up by 25.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Mark Spitz. In 1972 at the Olympic Games in Munich, American swimmer Mark Spitz aimed to accomplish the improbable.
He predicted that he was going to win 6 gold medals, and he wasn't the only one predicting that. I mean, an awful lot of people thought he was going to win 6 gold medals.
I think he made it very clear to everybody when he showed up that he fully intended to win.
Steadily, Spitz began to make good on his prediction. With each gold medal won, the anticipation grew greater. After clinching his 6th gold medal, one race remained for him, the medley relay.
The only time I remember winning and getting a medal was in the last event, the medley relay. And primarily when we were walking around after the event and the medal presentation, where my teammates picked me up and put me on their shoulder.
Indianapolis leading 45-20. And again, the record-setting touchdown, the 86th right here. Peyton Manning is mic'd up. Go back and have a listen.
You got it. You keep it. We'll split it.
He's still doing play action.
Now, isn't that something that he tried to hand it to Marvin Harrison and he just kind of shrugged it and didn't want it? But the funny thing about that is Marvin Harrison has all other 85 of them.
Yeah. Somehow I have a feeling that's still going to wind up in Harrison's house. Chris Johnson from the 2-yard line. 25-yard line. Maybe they should open up a joint custody account. Sam Ryan.
Well, right now, Al, I have custody of it. Number 86 right here. Peyton told me the other day Marvin does have 1 through 85. He suggested to him a couple weeks ago, hey, you can keep it. And Peyton said, why don't we split it? You heard in that mic'd up, Peyton did suggest that we can split it. So how would they split it? Peyton said they could actually cut it in half, stuff it with a note or something sentimental, and mount it on something. So they're going to split it, gentlemen.
Or, Sam, you could put it on eBay.
You don't know where that ball is going to end up, though. I mean, it could end up for the Colts and in their office. It could end up in the Hall of Fame.
Jackson makes the catch outside. Gain of 3. Middle linebacker Gary Brackett with the tackle there.
Gary Brackett, he's starting there middle linebacker now. He's kind of an undersized middle linebacker, but look at him. He looks exactly, now I'm not saying he plays like him, he looks exactly like Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
I saw him at practice the other day and I said, that looks like a young Mike Singletary.
Eyes wide open. Not quite as wide as Mike's. That was Mike's trademark. Steven Jackson gets submarined by Bob Sanders, but not until he picks up a first down up at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, if you're going to play that 2-deep zone, that Tampa 2 that they play here, that the Colts play, those safeties have to make that tackle in the open field because they're deep and they're the only ones. And you see the linebackers there. And then once you get past that second level, that guy there has to make that play. And that's why Tony Dungy really likes Bob Sanders.
From the 36-yard line. Jackson up to the 47. Again, going back to the storyline in this game coming in, Colts unbeaten. Rams without Mike Martz with the bacterial infection of the heart valve. We were talking about Mike before. Mike is a very passionate and emotional man, and a guy who, as I said before, I was told, his doctor said, stay away from football, but Joe Vitt is the interim coach. And for Mike, I mean, how do you tell a guy like Mike Martz to stay away from football?
You can't tell any head coach that because, it's your team, and your team is like your family. It's like your baby. You can't tell them to stay away from it.
And that's exactly.
Well, you can tell them to stay away from it. They won't do it. I'm sorry.
Sure. And then for Mike, and we wish Mike the best and take care of yourself and just rest up and listen to your doctors. But, for him, it's going to be such an agonizing thing because let's hope he gets better, and you start to feel better, and you think, you know, I got to get back into it. I got to get there quicker than later. From the 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Draw to Jackson. Big hole, and Steven Jackson to the 29-yard line.
Well, you know, the Rams in the second half had so many turnovers, and the Colts are playing pass and expecting that, you know, because the Rams are behind, they're going to be throwing every down. So they're coming on a heavy pass rush, and the Rams are just going with the draw play.
Here's Jackson tonight, 87 on the ground, a lot early and a few yards here late. Plus he's caught 4. Bolger hurt, sprained shoulder, first half. Reduced the communicator in the second half. From the 28-yard line. Jackson will take it again. His 5th reception. And Steven Jackson gets to the 22-yard line where Harper stops him.
You know, Mark Bolger did 2 things on that play that really surprised me. But again, they were probably instincts or reaction. He threw an interception, and then he went over and got in position to make the tackle. Then he had to take on a blocker, and he took on a blocker with his right shoulder. Now, most quarterbacks won't do that. You see him here? He had to give Thornton something to block, and he gave him his right shoulder. So his being in that position surprised me, and then turning that right shoulder surprised me.
2nd and 3. And that's almost picked, intended for Holland. It's Nick Harper who's been all over the place in the second half.
You know, this whole secondary has, and we talk about Nick Harper as a corner and Bob Sanders and Mike Doss, the plays that they've been making, and they're a much more active physical secondary than they've been over the years. The offense wanted that one. They wanted another one. They have 4 scores from turnovers this half.
They have 3 interceptions, 1 fumble. And this is Marshall Faulk taking it to the 10-yard line. So they're exploiting the middle of the defense, which the Colts are basically giving them here.
Yeah, they're giving them that because they're giving them a heavy pass rush, and they're just rushing the passer, trying to get to him, and they just hand the draw and run right by him. And then when you have a guy like Steven Jackson running it, you know, you're not going to tackle him with a hand as you go by to the quarterback.
From the 9-yard line, Marshall Faulk is the back here. Martin stays upright after nearly tripping and then throws and has a touchdown to Cam Cleland, the tight end.
He had Cam Cleland all the way, and as you said, he started to come out of there and he slipped a little, and I was watching Cleland. He was wide open. I didn't know if Martin was going to get control of the ball in time to get it to Cleland. But he's going to fake to the left, and he kind of steps there, and you see how open Cleland is and how long he was open before that ball got out there. Mike Doss, number 20, was the closest guy. They went for the play action fake, and Cam Cleland is wide open for about 2 minutes.
Now the Rams are going to line up to go for 2. It's a 19-point differential. So they're trying to cut it to 17. This is an either or here, 17 or 18. It's still a 3-possession situation for the Rams, and of course an onside kick figures to be the next play after the conversion attempt. And this is Faulk, and Marshall will take it in. So Marshall Faulk will add 2 more points to his scoring total on his way to the Hall of Fame, and that makes it 45-28. So the Colts at one point down 17-0. Steven Jackson, his numbers on the night, and he got off to a hot start. But then Bolger gets hurt, and that was a huge play, obviously, because it meant Jamie Martin, the experienced but seldom used quarterback, had to come in, even though he played fairly well at the outset. Edgerrin James has had a big night. Peyton Manning, he's had better numbers, but again, Peyton just managing the game efficiently and effectively, and the offense taking advantage of the turnovers. Harrison with a record-setting catch, 45-28. And you know, John, one thing we haven't touched on tonight, you look at these franchises, the old Baltimore Colts, the old Los Angeles Rams used to be in the Western Conference of the NFL, would play all the time in those years. Now, of course, a different situation. They don't play that much. But these were two franchises traded for each other back in 1972. Carroll Rosenblum, and there is Jim Irsay, whose father, Bob, wanted to get into football. So to get the Baltimore Colts, what he had to do is buy the Los Angeles Rams and then trade them with Carroll Rosenblum, who owned Baltimore but wanted to own a team in Los Angeles. And for tax purposes, they effected this trade where Irsay actually owned the Rams very briefly, and then they effected the franchise trade, and they put the good hands people in. That's Marvin Harrison, making sure the Rams don't recover the onside kick.
Yeah, I think Carroll Rosenblum, when he owned the Colts, he wanted to get out to Los Angeles, and maybe you know part of it was a tax, and part of it was that's the franchise that Carroll wanted too.
And an injured Colt right here, and that's Brackett, the middle linebacker, Gary Brackett, also playing on special teams, who gets shaken up. And the irony is, when you think of these franchises, they have been in effect owned by the same families for about a third of a century, as they attend to Brackett here, and Peyton Manning expresses his concern from the sideline along with Dallas Clark and Reggie Wayne.
Peyton's not going to be playing anymore tonight.
Yeah, Jim Sorgi's going to come in. He's his backup right now, but the concern right now is on the field with a guy who's not only a special teams member but a very vital part of their defense in Gary Brackett. And he gets up, so that's obviously a good sign. But you think about these franchises as Brackett comes off. Carroll Rosenblum owned the team and then died in '79, and Georgia Frontier, the widow of Carroll Rosenblum, survived a court battle to retain the team, and she still owns the team. And in the Irsay family, this team was in Baltimore in '72 and then moved to Indianapolis in '84, and Jim has taken over, and right now Jim is guiding the only undefeated team in the National Football League.
They look pretty good too, don't they?
They do.
I mean, this defense really is better.
From the 46-yard line. Georgia looks like Peyton. Here's Rhodes, and we have Peyton again mic'd up.
Louisville, Houston. Orange 38. Orange 38. Line. Team hot. Gotta fire them up a little bit, boys. They're coming. Damn. Hey, it's tough. No, no. Look, no, look, no. He got it back. No, look at it. Wait, he got it back. You got it. You keep it. You keep it. You keep it. We'll split it. We'll split it. Split it. Split it.
He's been on so much tonight, he should pay after dues.
He is all over the place. You know, it's interesting, Tom Moore, the way he calls plays to Peyton Manning, and that's what he does up at the line of scrimmage, is audible. He says he doesn't send in a play, he sends an idea in. And the idea is maybe a run right, and then he has a companion if he doesn't like that, run left, and then if he doesn't like the run, he has a pass. So those are the things that he's going through.
Rhodes. Coaching by concept.
That's not bad. You know, it used to be like last year, he would send in 3 plays. In other words, here's 2 runs and a pass, and you know, if you want to throw it, I mean, if you see the coverage and that's what you want to do, throw it. If not, you know, you can run strong or you can run weak. And now he's shortened it down. He just gives them an idea. Just gives one part, right? Run right. And then if that's there, you stay with it. If not, you run to the left. And if you don't like either one of those, you throw the ball.
I love it. I mean, you know, simplify your life. You have a quarterback like Peyton Manning, uncomplicated.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, having a quarterback like Peyton Manning and having him that long, the offensive coordinator and quarterback together.
That is the thing. Straight ahead. Rhodes. Now, Indianapolis goes to Houston next week. Take a look at this. The Texans have not won a game. Then they have a bye. Then that game at New England is a Monday night game. And that's the game in the playoffs in the last 2 years that Indianapolis couldn't win. So they got bounced out. Big game in New England on November 7th on a Monday. We'll also see them on Monday night, November 28th, as they take on Pittsburgh here. But Indy will go to 6-0. The only unbeaten team in the NFL at the 2-minute warning in Indiana.
When a boxer prepares, he's only thinking of success. He's only thinking of destruction. But to conquer, he must obliterate the hopes of his opponent and be the only man standing. Fight Night, only on ESPN.
Bedlam, Curly Lambeau Stadium in Green Bay. Oh, yeah. I think America's loving this one. I sure am. Do they love it in Green Bay? They love it in Green Bay.
And Elway and a quarterback throw, and it's a touchdown. Yeah. He throws to the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown by Davis.
Lord, you could take me now. I've seen it all.
And they go for the record.
They were looking for that all night. That should be a record.
October 17th, pretty special night through the years on Monday Night Football.
Some pretty special things happened.
Very. Pretty special thing happened in baseball back in 1989 of a different sort. The anniversary of the earthquake, Loma Prieta, affecting the World Series in San Francisco.
Was that this date?
October 17th, 1989,
Right.
5:04 p.m. That was 16 years ago. Wow. 18 and 88, equaling 86 as the Colts get ready to run out much of the clock here with 2 minutes to play. Manning done for the night. And the Colts ready to resume practice this week. Short work week and into Houston on Sunday. And we got Rhodes. And he's not done yet. And Rhodes has the presence of mind to go down before he goes out of bounds. Picks up the first down to keep the clock rolling.
Yeah, we were looking at that schedule there of the Indianapolis Colts, and talking to Tony Dungy last night, he was saying that, you know, everyone thinks that we want to have playoff games here at home. He said it's not that. He said the first thing you want to do is you win your division, and then he said you want to buy in the playoffs. He said that is something that is really big and maybe the most important thing, not having to play the first week in the playoffs.
Tremendous difference between being the number 2 seed and the 3 seed. The 3 seed gets a home game, but the 3 seed doesn't get a week off. Monday Night Football being brought to you by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. By IBM, become an on-demand business. IBM can help. And Autotrader.com, the smarter way to buy and sell a car. Take a look at this. The largest margin of victory after trailing by 17 at the end of the first. You'd have Oakland against Philadelphia in '95 when Oakland scored 48 unanswered points to win the game. You had a situation tonight, Indy against St. Louis tonight, 17-0 early and then the roof caved in. As I said, it's a matter of Indianapolis being a good football team. Manning, James, Bulger getting hurt, the whole thing going on with the Rams right now with the coaching situation, and the attrition helps to do them in. And now they'll worry about Bulger and whether he can play next week. But the Rams go to 2-4, the Colts go to 6.
We invite our Latin American audience to stay tuned for Sports Center. For the rest of our worldwide audience, keep it here. Monday Night Football. We'll wrap it up in just a moment here on ESPN.
The X Games on ESPN. Athletes redefining their sport.
Unbelievable.
When does athletic skill transcend the sport?
And he's got it over the height. Man, that was huge.
When does a trick become a miracle?
Are you kidding me?
Don't miss a special encore of X Games 11. Thursdays this October, only on ESPN.
Well, the Colts didn't get out to a very good start, but they sure finished strong. 45-28. They've got the victory over the St. Louis Rams. But now the Colts move their record to a perfect 6-0. And that sets the stage for next week's edition of Monday Night Football, presented by Telcel. The New York Jets will be in Atlanta to take on Mike Vick and the Falcons. Check the time in your area of the world, and ESPN is your home for Monday Night Football. We'll be back to wrap things up from Indianapolis after the Colts' victory over the Rams. In the aftermath of an impressive turnaround for the Indianapolis Colts, a 45-28 victory over the visiting St. Louis Rams. Well, let's go back to the first quarter. On the very first possession of the game, Steven Jackson, a nice 14-yard run up the middle, down to the 21. Very next play, Jackson would take it the rest of the way. 21-yard scoring run. They make it 7-0 St. Louis. 6-play, 80-yard drive to open things up. Later on the ensuing kickoff, Dominic Rhodes didn't catch it, cleanly lost the football. St. Louis' Mike Furry recovered at the 16 of the Colts. Stand to settle for a field goal, though. It's 10-0. That was the score. Bulger found Steven Jackson. Watch the end of the play here. Jackson's going to have the ball stripped away, ruled the fumble on the field, but reversed up in the booth. So the Rams kept the football. They would take advantage. Kevin Bulger looking for Kevin Curtis. Bulger finds Curtis. 57 yards for the score. 17-0 in the first quarter. The Rams had the lead in Indianapolis. In the second, Manning to Edgerrin James. He fumbles. Somehow he got possession of the ball back to keep the drive alive. This time he'd hold on to it for the 1-yard scoring run. Indianapolis on the board, down 17-7. Then Manning, 3-yard strike to Reggie Wayne, and it was 17-14. St. Louis added a field goal just before the half to make it 20-14. It was a 3-point game. Look at that cut from Edgerrin James. Unbelievable. Great cut there for the touchdown run from 8 yards out. And then the turnover. Second interception of the game from Cato June, 5th on the season. It leads the NFL. And then Dominic Rhodes would get into the act with a 1-yard touchdown run. And then the hookup we've been waiting for. Manning to Harrison for the 86th time in their career. The now most prolific quarterback to wide receiver touchdown pass duo of all time. Mark Bulger was able to salvage something late. Rather, Jamie Martin was able to salvage something late with that 9-yard touchdown pass to Cam Cleveland. Mark Bulger left the game with a shoulder injury. X-rays were negative, but he did not return to the game. Here's a look at the total numbers. 45-28 the final. The Colts win 29 first downs. They rushed for 176 yards. 143 of them came from Edgerrin James on 23 carries. He got into the end zone 3 times. So a great performance for Edgerrin James, leading the Colts offense. Peyton Manning only had to throw for 191 yards. He did, throw those 2 touchdown passes. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Mark Brown. So long for now. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. The final score this evening from Indianapolis. The Colts go to 6-0 with a 45-28 victory over the St. Louis Rams.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.